Pittsburgh Steelers have been urged to sign a veteran inside linebacker with plenty of experience and a name that anywhere he's gone, any season he's contributed to, he's made an impact. And maybe that is the best replacement for Cole Holcomb as the Steelers enter the back half of the season. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackmine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they lose Cole Holcomb for the entire season due to a knee injury. Unfortunate news because their best inside linebacker, a position that seemingly finally caught some traction after years of trying to replace Ryan Shazier and just land an inside linebacker group that they felt confident in. Well, now they're looking for replacements. They still have Quan Alexander. They still have a Landon Roberts, and Mark Robinson should work his way into the rotation. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers are not comfortable bringing the second-year pro into the loop just yet, maybe they're looking elsewhere. It's still hard to imagine that the Pittsburgh Steelers only keep 3 inside linebackers on their roster moving forward. Typically, that fourth guy is utilized in special teams. I mean, in most years, the Pittsburgh Steelers keep 5 inside linebackers just to make sure that they have depth. To have 3 just seems very slim. You lose one, now you're really backed up against the wall. And people are going to toss out names. A lot of people have asked me, oh, can Nick Herbig fill in on the inside? I just don't think that's realistic. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to ask a rookie to learn outside linebacker, to contribute at outside linebacker, and then suddenly mid-season make a change to the inside, relearn everything he's already been taught, and try to contribute there as well. 2 reasons that doesn't make sense. First is that's very difficult for a 4th-round rookie to do, and that's a lot to put on his shoulders. And just second, the Steelers want Nick Herbig to contribute on the outside because he's a valuable contribution on the outside. They're not going to get rid of that or waste his talent out there to say, hey, move on to the inside because we're desperate. There are other options. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have a few of them that they could look for. And now this veteran who has been named by Bleacher Report, who you could take that however you'd like to take that, has been urged to be the Pittsburgh Steelers' next inside linebacker. Now, before we dive into who the Pittsburgh Steelers should sign, it should be known that whoever does join the roster is not going to start. It is going to be Quan Alexander, and it is going to be a Landon Roberts. They will be your 1-2. If this next signing replaces Mark Robinson is yet to be known, but I have a hard time saying that it's an immediate jump that somebody joins the roster and within days or within weeks is the 3rd guy over the person or over the player that the Pittsburgh Steelers want to develop. And I mean, at the beginning of the season and during the draft and everything else, everybody was talking about, oh, Mark Robinson's going to be the guy. There were reports out there that the Pittsburgh Steelers weren't going to draft an inside linebacker because they wanted Mark Robinson to be their starter. I think they went out and they saw very quality veterans, and then they made the move. So here they are. Landon Roberts and Quan Alexander are your starters. Let me compare 2 names. One of them urged by Bleacher Report to be the Pittsburgh Steelers' next signing. The other already on the Pittsburgh Steelers, their practice squad. And a name that could fit the bill that I would suggest over the veteran that Bleacher Report signed. Without naming names, without saying who is who yet, these are the stats. Last season in 2022, this player had 58 tackles, 1 sack, 0 interceptions, 1 pass deflection, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hits, and he gave up 83.3% of his passes in the season. This other player had 107 tackles, 2 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, 1 sack, 4 tackles for loss, 1 quarterback hit, gave up 83% of his pass completions. Years old, we're going to compare age. The first player is 31. The second player is 26. The first player is entering his 9th season or 10th season in the NFL. The second player is entering his 4th season in the NFL. I don't think I have to go any farther. The first player is Anthony Barr. Bleacher Report believes that the Pittsburgh Steelers already had an issue at inside linebacker and that they should go out and sign another and make it a veteran presence who could come in here and contribute immediately and hopefully fill the hole that they already had, but that got bigger with Cole Holcomb's injury. I think there are two issues here. The first one, the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't have a hole at inside linebacker. In fact, it was the opposite. This was the first time in a long time that the Pittsburgh Steelers actually had solid contributions at inside linebacker. And the trio of Cole Holcomb, Quan Alexander, and Landon Roberts was working well. And I thought Cole Holcomb, the leader of the pack, was the best one of the three, but Quan Alexander's been playing very, very well this season. And Landon Roberts is exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted Landon Roberts to be. That hard-nosed, hard-hitting, plug up the middle and go find the quarterback and the running back or whoever has the football and make sure that they know that you hit them. I thought that's worked out very well for them. I've had no issues with the inside linebackers for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season, and I don't necessarily agree that they had a hole heading into the Tennessee Titans game and that hole got bigger. Do they have to replace Cole Holcomb now? Yes. But still, compared to years past, the Pittsburgh Steelers inside linebacker room looks a lot better right now than it did a year ago or 2 years ago or whenever. The other name is Michael Walker. Excuse me, I keep trying to call him Mike Call. Michael Walker, former Atlanta Falcon, who was their 4th-round pick, I believe, in 2020. He started 20 of his 49 games over the last 3 seasons, has 187 tackles, including 107 last year, like I said, 3 interceptions, and 11 pass deflections. This guy was a surprise cut for the Atlanta Falcons this past offseason. Nobody really knew why. They didn't know if it was because of injury or just because his time has run out with the Atlanta Falcons. When you don't finish your rookie contract, it's always very strange as to why you are not with the team anymore, especially if you started the year prior. He's at least played 16 games in all 3 of his first 3 seasons in the NFL. And I think just if you're looking for, or what the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for, he just fits the bill. The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't looking for another veteran to come in here and try to work his way into the system and adapt to Quan Alexander and adapt to Landon Roberts and try to be in the mix and be that number 3. And maybe he works out, maybe he doesn't. I think that going younger, signing a guy off your own practice squad who's been here for a week, and that's not a long time, but I think the Steelers, I'm a guy that believes in fate, and I believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers, somewhere along the way, the universe was looking out and said, you're not going to get good news at the end of this week. And that sucks, but here's a backup plan, and he's already going to be on your practice squad. And that's Walker. He could come in here. He could be 26 years old. He could be very young. He could be very versatile, coming off his best year as a pro with no expectations. He doesn't have to surpass Mark Robinson. All he's got to do is play special teams, which he's played before. All he's got to do is fill in when needed in desperate situations. Chances are he doesn't even touch the field on defense unless it's an emergency and the Pittsburgh Steelers really, really need an inside linebacker to come in and contribute. But I don't think that is a worse move than going out and signing a veteran who's 31 years old, who is coming off an okay year. And I get it. Anthony Barr is a Pro Bowler in this league. He's a legend. He has earned his stripes in the NFL. I agree with all of that. But I just think that every situation is different, and the Pittsburgh Steelers situation calls for a younger option, a guy who could play special teams without complaints, a guy who is looking to earn a place in the league, a guy that you could watch and view and say, maybe Michael Walker is a part of this group moving forward. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you check that out? Because Anthony Barr is here as a loaner. He's here for 1 season and then you move on. But at the end of this year, Quan Alexander is a free agent unless the Pittsburgh Steelers ink him to a long-term deal. And they're looking at Cole Holcomb, who's coming off of a knee injury, Landon Roberts, and Mark Robinson. Maybe Walker's that other guy. Maybe you bring back Quan Alexander as well, and then you got a foursome, and you're feeling real good about your inside linebacker room. Makes a lot more sense. I understand that you lose a veteran, you want to replace it with another veteran. You lose a stud on defense, you want to replace it with another stud on defense. But I think this time, You just keep it simple. You have an understanding and a faith in Quan Alexander and Landon Roberts to hold down the inside linebacker room as their starters. You hope that Mark Robinson can contribute, and you see if Walker has the capabilities of doing the same. If that's the mix, I don't feel bad about it. And honestly, even without Cole Holcomb, I still think that's an upgrade from a year ago and the direction the Pittsburgh Steelers should be looking to go to replace Cole Holcomb.